Malls are dying all across America right now because of online shopping. What used to be the heart of the city for people to do Christmas shopping and weekend shopping, and especially during this time of year, tax refund shopping. It's amazing now how they sit isolated and they're dying all across America. Hello, Gingles and Goblins, and welcome back to the channel. Today's spooky shopping adventure, even though technically there's nowhere to shop except for one store because this is a dead mall. Now, this is something that I'll do occasionally here on the channel because I used to do it on the old channel, but they're tearing down a lot of these dead malls in my area. I know Wilson, North Carolina has a dead mall, and I believe it's already been demolished as I'm filming this in March of 2026. So today I'm visiting the Vernon Park Mall, which used to be one of the most thriving malls in all of Eastern North Carolina, the ENC as they call it here. But time took its toll on this place, and what was once a bustling, thriving mall is now just a shell of its former self. Now, they say that if you go inside this mall, it is in disarray. There's mold everywhere. The ceilings are collapsing. It's pretty bad, but they're still holding on to hope that they think that they're going to turn this into some kind of a community center. But I don't think so. I think time is taking its toll on it, and I think the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to be demolished. And with the growing economy in North Carolina now, people are moving here from all different states now because it's an affordable way of life here. At least they think it is, but property taxes here are going through the roof on a yearly basis. So in the long run, nowhere is going to be cheap. But I think they're going to tear down the mall eventually, and it's going to become high-rise apartments or a neighborhood or something like that. Now, I spent many Saturdays here going to the toy store, the pet store, the arcade, and all of that stuff. Me and my sister both came here when my dad would bring us here on the weekends. And
Walden Books.
Yeah, she was a Walden Books person, if anybody remembers the Walden Books. What was the toy store they had here? Was it Circus World, KB Toys? What was it? I don't really remember off the top of my head.
KB Toys. Seemed like Circus World was in Greenville.
KB Toys. I think it was KB Toys. There was also like a Trax record bar music store here that I got many hair metal cassette tapes from. And like she said, Walden Books. There was a place out here called Goodies, which was like a JCPenney that everybody loved going to because they were more affordable than JCPenney. I know my dad, he loved Goodies. He would bring us both there for back to school shopping. And today we're going to look around at the mall and see what shape it's in. It's got one anchor store left, and that's all that's out here, and that's a Belk. The mall itself closed about 15-20 years ago.
I remember we were last here together, I think 2013, I want to say, probably spring. And at that time, I think there was like an airbrush kiosk, an arcade, and a comic book / like gift store that sold that game that you sometimes reference that, what is it, the Jelly Belly Bean Boozled. Yeah, and I was looking up some of the flavors, and one is like stinky socks and old burnt rubber. So
and fresh cut grass. There's fresh cut grass.
Yeah, if I were to eat one of those, this mall wouldn't be the only thing that's dead. My taste buds would have just R.I.P.
There you go. Well, if you all remember my sister from the other channel, you know she's always quick-witted with the one-liners. But anyway, join us if you dare.
I got a black heart, it's a new start. Welcome to the spooky club. I got a black heart, it's a new start. Welcome to the spooky club. Take that! Join the spooky club.
We've always shopped here at Vernon Park Mall. With the changes, it's even better.
I've been shopping at Vernon Park Mall about 15 years now, and the way that they've made the changes in the stores, we're really excited about.
We drive here from New Bern to shop because the stores are larger here and there are more of them.
My mother shopped here, and I shopped here and bring my daughter, and it's really been a tradition in our family.
The tradition continues.
And right there, if I walk towards this, is where Goodies would be, which is what I was telling you about. Goodies was like a JCPenney, and you can still see the faded word Goodies from where the sign stayed up for almost 2.5 decades. And that stuff, you go to shop here in Kinston, North Carolina. But let's get up here to the main mall entrance. The Vernon Park Mall was built sometime in the late 1960s, early 1970s, if I'm correct on that. I could be wrong on that. If you're a local, correct me, sound off in the comments below. I was born in 1980. I know it was here before I was born because I spent most of my childhood in the 1980s coming here, and the only store that was upstairs was a barber shop. And from what I understand, when the barber shop was one of the only remaining stores that was left here, he had a key to the entire mall, and it was up to him to close up at night. I'm surprised that the Vernon Park Mall sign is still in as decent shape as it's in. This mall hit its prime in the 1980s, and in the 1980s, this was everybody's go-to spot. We had the Vernon Park Mall, we had the Carolina East Mall, and we had the Plaza Mall, both of those over in Greenville.
Carolina East Mall has decked the halls with Christmas savings. Shop our 60 stores and services for the best Christmas bargains. Say, kiddies, don't forget to visit with Santa and tell him your special Christmas wishes and register to win a Power Wheels vehicle. 2 will be given away on December the 18th. Carolina East Mall, the place to be this Christmas season.
Here's something I want to point out, that if you look over here, you can see the barber shop here. It says Uppercuts. Now, I don't think that was the one that was upstairs, but they still have the Vernon Park Mall sign in there. Looks like the mall directory is busted out now. But look at these WB signs. You've got One Tree Hill and Smallville. Now let that sink in. The WB turned into the CW in the fall of 2006. So that shows you how long this mall has been sitting here pretty dormant without any kind of an update or a facelift. Smallville has long gone, as well as One Tree Hill, and it's just amazing that those signs still look to be in pretty good shape. And I believe there used to be like a Reba TV advertisement in there because it came on syndication on the WB. I believe there was also Dawson's Creek and the Gilmore Girls if you were able to walk inside and see it. But you can see right there, the floor is getting stained up, I'm assuming. Yeah, if I scroll up here, you can see right there come back on this a little bit. You can see the ceiling tiles are busted out, so it's getting a lot of water damage and it's leaking down. What a shame that this building has become this.
Hey, check this out. You know you can't always watch Smallville on Tuesday. So here's another shot. It's also on the WB's Big Sunday.
It's big.
Really big.
Catch it at 5 or Central. It's easier for you to view. The latest all-new Smallvilles this weekend on the WB's Big Sunday.
You can see the benches there where the mall walkers used to walk around, and then they would sit down after they did their mall walking. Anybody remember the mall walkers from back in the day? The older generation used to walk the malls early in the morning before it got really, really crowded. Or if your parents were exhausted from shopping with you, they would just say, you go in that store and I'll be out here sitting on this bench. And of course, vandals and looters come and they bust out windows to crawl in and see how it looks inside, which is a shame that they do stuff like that. The weeds are starting to grow up all around the trees. And this is just another look at the inside of the mall. That's the staircase I was telling you about where the barber would go upstairs. And I got my hair cut there a few times, but again, he was the only one that was really there towards the end of the mall's dying days. So look at that Smallville advertisement again. And there's Goodies. Goodies, of course, is all boarded up. I don't think there's going to be any deliveries there anymore. One of my fondest memories of coming to this mall was Christmas 1991, going to the toy store and getting a Maniac Mansion Nintendo game, which I still own to this day. And it was on clearance there for about $10, I believe it was back then. I don't remember which building was here on this corner, but you can see now for the most part, all they use this for is like truck drivers come here and they sleep overnight. I don't remember which building this was, if it was JCPenney or possibly Brody's. Sound off in the comments below if you remember what was beside Goodies, because my memory, unfortunately, is drawing a blank right now. I don't even know what that is, but whatever it is, it's been here for a while. You can see all of it's more or less grown up into flower beds, and everything over here is completely boarded up.
It's time to get up and get moving to the Memorial Day sale at Goodies. You'll find great summer savings on men's, ladies, and children's knit shorts and tees. Your choice, just $5.99 each. Department store brands, department store styles, Goodies low price. Take a good look at what's in store for you during the Memorial Day sale at Goodies Family Clothing.
Goodies looks good on you. Take a good look.
And you can see Take Two, which was the arcade that I mentioned coming through here in the 80s, which any thriving mall in the 80s and 90s definitely had to have an arcade. And this one had one called Take Two. I think we had an Aladdin's Castle over at the Carolina East Mall in Greenville. But in my opinion, Take Two was a much better arcade in its heyday. I believe it was located right beside that Paper Heroes at Candyland. And back in the day, the food court, which I'll go around to that area in just a minute, had a burger place in there. I'm trying to remember what the burger place was called. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. It was like a person's name. I can't remember, but that was the go-to place when you were doing all your shopping around here. We'll get to that in just a moment.
This video game arcade in Mountain View, California is typical of those scattered around the country. Children pile in shortly after noon on weekends to match wits with an electronic bad guy. For about 75 cents, they shoot, punch, and hammer their way to victory.
Even the bank that's set in front of the mall parking lot, I believe this was a Wachovia, I believe, it's gone out of business. You don't need a bank here because there's nowhere to spend money around here except for bilk. And look at that, graffiti all over the place. See, this doesn't make sense to me. How would you feel if you owned the property and people just decided, oh, nobody lives here or nobody works here, so let me just take my spray paint and just... It doesn't matter. It's not your property to vandalize it, so that's just wrong in my opinion, and I think that's messed up, but unfortunately, that's what they do. And in the midst of this total mess, somehow Bilk still remains as an anchor store, the only store that exists at this entire mall. And behind the mall, there used to be a grocery store. I don't remember what it was, possibly a Winn-Dixie. I don't think it was Food Lion. But even this shopping center now is in complete and utter disarray. Beach Bingo and Games hasn't even been around in over 15 years. But let's take a further look at the grocery store. All the windows here are completely busted out. You can just literally walk in that building because it's just, at this point, it's just wide open space. But at one point, that was people's livelihoods, and they would go there and spend their paycheck or go there and work and make their paycheck. I'm not even going over that way because there's so much debris over there, so we're going to stay over here in the cleaner area for safe driving. Another bingo area over here that hasn't been in a while. And right here was a movie theater. I remember we came here and we saw, I believe it was Mr. Baseball starring Tom Selleck back in the day, but this movie theater hasn't been around for a very, very long time. Now you can see right there where the movie posters used to be, right there, where it would show what's playing now, but those days are long, long gone. Look at the state of this building.
Greenville's best movie bargain is WHNS Movie Monday at the Towers Cinema. 2 admissions are $1.21. Popcorn and drink $1.21. Mondays at the Towers Cinema, courtesy of TV 21.
Now, this is the Animal Jungle. This was the pet shop. And the last time I really visited here when they were still in business, me and my partner, we came in here and we ended up getting a ferret named Violet. And that's my last memory here. They used to have a monkey inside Animal Jungle also. That monkey was wide open, not to be confused with Punch the Monkey now, who is all the rage now. Punch the Monkey, of course, the monkey over in Japan. I believe that all of the other monkeys, unfortunately, turned their back on because Punch's mom disowned him when he was born. So poor Punch the Monkey just walks around the other monkeys there in the containment with his little security stuffed mommy monkey. But I have heard that Punch the Monkey is now making friends, but Punch the Monkey is definitely a heartbreaking story. If you agree, sound off in the comments below. But right beside Animal Jungle is where the food court was, and then eventually that became the DMV, and that was all that was left at the food court area in the mall's dying days. But let's see if we can peer in the windows here, put the camera up to the door and see if we can see anything. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch where I walk because I don't feel like going to the urgent care today for a tetanus shot, and I don't know how these vans will do with nails and glass, but that's what I mean. See how they bust everything out? What a shame. But that's the inside of the animal store. Doors all busted. Good grief, this was the entrance to the food court area, but what a mess up here now. We'll see if I can see anything inside here. You can still see where the food court tables were, and you can still see the North Carolina DMV sign up, but this food court, much like all mall food courts, was definitely the place to be, but I definitely can't remember the name of that burger joint that everybody loved. Looks like they're already starting to clean some of this stuff out. Expressions here was here for a long time. Expressions was like a local store that was kind of like a Crate and Barrel, I guess you could say, or Home Goods. They sold all kinds of home decor and stuff like that. And it looks like they're finally starting to clean some of that stuff out. But if we come over here, this is where Rose's was. Of course, if you're not familiar with Rose's, Rose's was just like a Kmart and a Walmart and a Target back in the day. And they were one of the big retail stores. Let's see if we can get up there and see if we can see any signs of life left over from Rose's.
Now Nintendo is more than a game. It's a place you can go. And when you get there, you're going to see things you've never seen before. Do things you didn't know were possible. Enter the world of Nintendo for the largest selection of Nintendo Entertainment System and Game Boy games and loads of other exciting Nintendo products for the whole family. All at a Rose's store near you.
Rose's, another one of those places that I used to come to. This is where I got my first ever cassette tape, Appetite for Destruction. I don't remember what was there. I know my sister had mentioned D.A. Kelly's was out here. They had all kinds of local businesses that they used for anchor stores, so I don't really remember, but I do know for a fact that this was Rose's, but probably no signs of life left for Rose's because it looks like they're cleaning that out also. And I believe this right here was JCPenney. I could be wrong on that, but I believe the biggest store here as soon as you would come in the mall was JCPenney. Could be wrong on that. If I am, sound off in the comments below. But this would be the biggest anchor store, so I'm assuming it would definitely have to be JCPenney. And right across the street is where Nichols Department Store would have been. Another one that was kind of like a big retailer back in the day. Nichols was kind of like a Big Lots and an Ollie's now, though. They would sell stuff that places like Rose's and Walmart and Kmart got rid of. And I remember getting one of my first toys at Nichols Department Store. It was a WWF LJN Wrestling Superstars Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff action figure. This would be the main entrance sign. You can see Lynn's Hallmark, Payless Shoes, Thomas Jewelers, Foot Locker, Tips and Toes. I don't think there's any leasing to be done here now, unfortunately. I think it's long gone. And so that's going to wrap up this video. It definitely is sad to see part of the past turn into a shell of its former self, but that's the way it goes now. Shopping malls just can't compete with online shopping, and I think that in another 10 or 15 years, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find a shopping mall anywhere in America, because I think that they're just definitely going out. When I filmed Spencer's the last time, the manager there told me that all the Spencer stores in 2026 leading into 2027 are relocating to strip malls as well as Hot Topic stores. So what does that tell you right there? These stores are definitely eventually on the way out, shopping malls, because they know that they're not going to get any foot traffic if they stay inside these shopping malls. So they've got to get out, and they've got to get in the strip malls because that's where you're going to get your foot traffic. Places like Target shopping centers, Walmart shopping centers, they got a better chance of having people find their stores than going into a mall that's on life support. But anyway, I definitely had my share of memories here, as well as my sister. We had our share of memories here. So if it's gone one day, the memories will live on inside of our heart and our memory. So
I remember D.A. Kelly's.
D.A. Kelly's. Maybe that's the one that I was thinking about. That was one of the anchor stores out here. But there was also a Rose's department store that I mentioned. They had all kinds of anchor stores out here. But anyway, do all things spooky, retro, and holiday related here on the channel. And occasionally stuff like this I'll sprinkle in. So if you like this type of content, how about slashing that subscribe button and joining the club? And until next time, I'll see you on the dark side.
I got a black heart, it's a new start. Welcome to the spooky club. I got a black heart, it's a new start. Welcome to the spooky club. Take that! Join the spooky